This is how my story goes. Pain and joy, I've had it all. Had it all. Can I tell you my story? Oh, this is my story. As I tell you my story.
Welcome to the EN show. And if you were watching the show last week, you will recall that I had my two sisters, Lillian Mbayiwa and Jacqueline Rugayo, introducing season 3, and I'm so excited to have you back again for a second episode. And we're going to continue the conversation and pick up from last week. Now, we know, for just a quick recap for those who are watching, there was a lot of loss in our family back to back, and there were many lessons that we learned, not only as sisters, but as friends, because I don't see you guys only as my sisters, but also my friends as well. But in this episode, it is absolutely all about gratitude. And even in the adversity, there's been some good that has come out of that. And so I'm throwing it back to you guys, sisters. What has come out of all of this that you can now say, wow, this is probably a good thing that came out of a very bad situation? We'll start with you, Miss Jackie.
It's so interesting because I think if we were to go back to even at the time when, whether it was mom or whether it was Uncle Kuzi who got sick, I remembered we would pray Philippians 4. And Philippians 4 talks about, bringing your requests to God with thanksgiving. And I remember we would stop every single time. We're like, what do we have to be thankful for? So we are thankful for we have family that we can support each other. We've got the children who are around us. We've got family. There was a lot of family around. We never did any of these things on our own. We had, remember that sister talk was never really about the three of us. It was about an extended sisterhood. So that sisterhood came into place, whether it was with our children, whether it was with the community members. Everybody just got together. Those support systems that we knew we never had, all were activated. We would never have done any of this without them. So that was for me the first point of gratitude. We had assets that we never knew. In the relationships that both Uncle Kuzi and Mom developed, we had silent assets that were activated. And for me, it showed me how important it is to maintain community and good relationships with the people that you have around you.
I think that's so significant because you're right. The people, someone used to always say to me, the people who they thought they would support them were actually those who were the least present in their moments of time. And it's almost like we had sleeper cells in the family, people who just kind of were activated. All of a sudden you'd have one person doing something, another person doing something. And I really felt that we were loved and we were cared for. But Antilo, how do you see that journey for you from a gratitude lens?
Gratitude. I think the church, for me,
Yes.
it was so significant because the United Methodist Church is where we all grew up, although now we have gone on to other churches. But, our parents were still very strong United Methodist members and senior members as well. So the way that community shows up, for me, that is really incredible. I started to really consider myself and, my own relationship with my church, and started to think, will I get that much support if it were me, who has died or whatever. So for me, that's one thing that I just want to strengthen as I move forward. And the second thing is just this word love. I just realized that, with love, for as long as we love one another, for as long as we loved Mom to the end, for as long as we loved Kuzi to the end, or Anatetewedu, or any of our relatives that would have passed on, then it becomes a much more, almost like a celebration at the end, when they leave us. I always find that the struggle normally comes where there is a lot of conflict. So, for example, if somebody passes on, when you feel like you had not done enough to show them how much they mean to you and how much you love them. So for me, I really walked away from all this, really wanting to spend more time just loving the people who matter to me. You know, so that you know, someone was saying at another funeral that I attended that life is not about, you know, the life period that we have here on earth has nothing to do with age. It just has something to do with that period that God has given you to be in the world. Sometimes it's very short, but you would have done everything that God intended you to do. So, you know, it's like every minute then counts on how you interact, you know, with people that you love. Then when they go, you kind of like miss them a lot, but you will also have the sense of satisfaction that you loved. You loved them.
You know, I resonate so deeply with that because if you don't have closure, that's the one thing that will keep you in that state of mourning. And you can mourn for years.
Yeah.
I'm not saying mourning for years is not good or bad. That's not my decision to make.
It's bad.
It's not my decision to make for anyone. But I think that there is a peace that comes when you know that you did what you could for that person. And then for me, the biggest lesson that I learned, well, I learned two different ones for Mom and for Kudzai, but for Mom, I realized that Kotiso anamewacho kawasara. We tapuwa the baton, and Mom had taught us all of these incredible nuggets of wisdom that were also activated in her passing. And so we have caught ourselves laughing, going, because Mom would always be like, Vaskana, you have to go.
And they'll be like, oh, too bad.
There she goes again. Mom, we want to
move on with our lives.
Exactly. But now we're
kind of
yes. And now the responsibility is so weighty for me with my kids.
Yeah.
Because I was blessed to be loved so completely by one Eva Joyce Rugayo. She loved not only myself, not only you guys, but she loved a whole community of people. And so when you sent that message, or when I shared that message yesterday about, you know, a tribute that was made, it was all me just, you know, a ball of tears again yesterday, because I was like, wow. This woman has left us such a legacy. But we're going to talk about legacy building when we come back. And I want to hear what you guys want to leave in terms of your own legacies, because we've got so many incredible people who've left us with big legacies. This is the EN Show. We are talking about gratitude in 2024, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to EN. And, you know, during the break, we were talking and just reminiscing about, you know, the legacy that our parents left behind for us. You know, I go into meetings sometimes, and when people hear the surname Rugayo, they're like, what Manawani? Manawani John? And so that has put quite a challenge on me to say, when I pass, you know, when my kids walk into rooms, what will they hear about Emily Nirapari, right? I need to look at myself. It's an opportunity for myself to introspect and say, who really is Emily? You know, after all of this, you do understand who you are and the depths of what you're able to do. But, you know, what is the legacy that, you know, Lillian Mbayiwa wants to leave? So here you are, you're the president of MAS, you have all of these accolades. But what is that you want to leave to not only your children, but to society?
Well, I think the idea of leaving, something that is sustainable. I think that is something that I am concerned about, because very often we worry about, how I am going to survive, leaving a house for my kids, leaving whatever,
The materialistic
things. Yeah. But I think if there is something that we can plant, sometimes we can just only plant it, and we might not have to necessarily see it through. But if we can just plant something in our communities, in the world, that can be sustainable and with the impact of really making a big difference to people, to vulnerable people, to young people, to maybe the aged, to just something. And I think it's something that I'm really truly challenged on, that what is going to be my thing, that thing that I do outside of what's expected of me within my family, that will kind of like I can plant that seed and it can be there forever and ever. I mean, like when I say that, I think about our dad, like when you mention his name in Mutare, actually just recently, Auntie Jackie, you reminded us that there's actually a statue of Dad that is there in Mutare. And when you went to have a look at it after, I've never seen it. I've just heard about it many years ago. But when you went to have a look at it, you were actually so surprised that there was someone who still remembered his legacy and who spoke so highly about him and who explained why there's a statue of him there. So I think that's the kind of thing that I would want to live in the world. I think besides that, what I would want to pass on to my children, I think the idea of love, I think is very important, that we need to love one another. We need to love, our siblings and extended siblings as well, because we are a very tight family. So all that, I think we need to just make sure that, with love, God is love, right? So I think with love, we need to acknowledge God as well. And I can say that, what has taken me through some of the most challenging moments in my life has just been prayer and just staying close to God. So that's the legacy that I would want to leave, especially for my children, because there's a point where no one else can help you but God.
Exactly.
So I think having that knowledge is power.
And for me, I think that's why Psalms 46 is so important to me. Be still. That be still. I kept on reminding myself, be still, Emily.
Yeah.
You're programmed to solution. It's not the moment to solution.
Yeah.
Be still.
Yeah.
You're programmed to find, ways out. It's not that time. Be still. And, you're truly your father's daughter, because you're talking about love. And Dad was Reverend Love, But Auntie Jackie, on your end, what is that legacy looking like for you?
So I'll start with the family, which I thought I would never say this, right? But I used to wonder why Mom would say, I asked her, so Mom, what are some of the things that you regret if you were, because she was ready, right, to go, and she would be like, this is what I want, this is what I want. And I'm like, so what is the one thing that you feel like, you didn't achieve? She's like, Jackie, Daida Kuti, Iwena Maifade Murorwe. And I was like, Mom, haven't you eaten enough fuma from other people? Just leave me alone.
And I used to say, but ndakarorwa.
But is it a crime, my mom, that I'm not married? Like, come on. Like,
it's always the parents'
and then I'm like, first of all, there's no expectation that I'm getting married soon. So this woman is going to die without seeing this coming to fruition.
Yeah, I know. But that's why she hung on for so long. She just wanted
she was
to
waiting.
see.
She was like, maybe next year. Maybe next year.
Yeah, but then, when she left, when she died, I understood why.
Yeah.
Because she, when she died, I didn't have a fallback. She was my fallback as a mom. Like, I would call her every morning. She would call me or something like that as well. She would communicate. She would take a place of, she filled all the spots of being a mom, a husband, a friend, or everything. She tried anyways to feel the relational aspect of it, because, if anything exciting happens, I'd pick up the phone and call her. And so even for me, when I look at my daughter, so when I was thinking about what do I want for my daughter, first of all, I do want her to get married. Mariama, wherever you are.
You're going to be that kind of a
I'm going to be one of those
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to be one of those mothers. Because you know what? I feel like if I'm not there, she will be settled in a family.
Okay.
She'll have a husband. She'll have children. So for me, that is my desire. When I pray to God, I'm like, Lord, Musandi Tora before my daughter is settled and sorted out, because I want her to be feeling I'm living here in a legacy of a family, an extension of a family with grandchildren and so forth. Not for my own pride, but I feel like she's secured. And I think the second piece for me, again, I pick it up from Mom. She lived a spent life. I always said Mom lived a spent life. There was nothing that you could chukucha and still find that there was something missing. She did everything that she wanted to do. And I think for me, that's the legacy I want to live. I'm living my life a lot more intentional about, I want to discover what God put in me, what He entrusted in me. I want to be able to achieve. So that's my biggest driver right now. So that when I die, I'm dying spent. There's nothing missing. There's nothing undone.
You've shared.
I've shared everything. I have taught those I'm supposed to be teaching. I have done everything I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm very intentional even about spending moments with people. Those 1 minute, 2 minute conversations for me, I'm a lot more aware, because I know time is a luxury. We don't have all the time.
And you know, you summed it up perfectly, Auntie Jackie. But we're going to take a break, and in our last segment, I want us to have a bit of humor. All the things that Mom used to do, that, you know, all of the people who have left us, the humorous side of them, because, you know, we can't end this episode in tears, right? And we're going to take a short break and come back to that point. If you're watching the Ian Show, don't go away. We'll see you shortly. Welcome back to the EN Show. So, sisters, I know that we've been talking about some really heavy topics here, but, you know, in all of that, now I understand why at funerals there are moments of real deep sadness, and then there are moments where you're laughing and you're reminiscing and you're thinking about all the memories that this individual who's passed on has left behind. You know, what are the memories, if you were to just really wrap up, you know, that what are the life lessons that Mom has left for you and Kudzai has left for you? Because I think this episode really is in memory of both of them. And so in honor of them, I'd just like to sum up their legacy and what they have left behind for us. So maybe we'll start with you, Auntie Lo.
Okay, so when I think about Kudzi, I just see him laughing. So I used to just love to just spend time with him, because he was just all about big smile, laughing. So would come here and would just laugh away. And I think, you know, that's something that we underestimate, you know, because laughing, I think, is just something that feels so good, and it's something that is very therapeutic as well. So I think, you know, we must just laugh as much as we can. And Mom, what really strikes me about her is that, you know, I think you mentioned something earlier, when she lived her life fully, she didn't hold back anything. If Mom did everything under the sun, so she would have really been like in the thick of things. If there's, you know, whatever is kicking.
I think she had such an adventurous spirit.
She was an entrepreneur.
She was.
She had an entrepreneur spirit.
Extremely. And I think that's something we lack ourselves here. We are not as adventurous as our mom would have been.
She used to always complain and say, and we're like, in this generation, I'm not sure if we still need maoko, but you know, but you know. And so, Auntie Jackie, what were the memories for you?
I mean, I think for Uncle Kudzi, for me, was his special way of getting people together through barbecuing and braaiing. Oh my God, he was a braai master.
Yeah.
Like, if you know, even my daughter should be like, she cried so much because no more braai from Uncle Kudzi. Like, no more braai. It was, and it's not about his, like, you know, the taste aspect of it, which was phenomenal, but just the ability of getting families together. And Sister Talk actually came through one of his brides. We were sitting and just talking and having a conversation, and he'd be sitting there braaiing and just serving. And he was such a man who loved to serve. It's a gift that he used hospitality so well. And I think I love that, and I really totally miss that a lot. For Mom, I think it's just like you said, Auntie, Mom was totally adventurous. Like, remember she did, what are those chickens?
Juta.
She went into the Juta business. And
then those are the chickens that were coming from South Africa.
Mozambique, those ones with little coats.
She did those too.
And she did those as well.
Yeah.
But you know what? She succeeded in some. Some didn't. She didn't. But it never stopped her.
She would never say, I should have.
No, she didn't. She would just try it. She just tried it, and she fed us through those efforts.
Yes.
And I think as a woman, as a pastor's wife, we never lacked because of the extra things that she was doing. So she learned. She was always teaching someone, guys, for your family to be able to be fed. So it didn't matter whether she was working formally or not. She used her hands, and we were able to eat and to be where we are today. So for me, that's a life lesson that I would consider.
I think for me, Mom taught me to love, just complete love. She was such a loyalist. The people she loved, they would come out of the cracks. And some people would be like, marriage counseling. And I would look at Mom and I'm like, what marriage counseling are you still doing at your age? But I think Mom just really was a giver of herself and of everything. You're right. She passed on with an empty cup because she had given so much. And being her favorite child and everything.
Oh my gosh, here we go again.
I totally felt like she loved each one of us completely. I remember on your birthday, she wrote how everything that happened on your birth. On your birth, like all of us, that was such a present for us. But before she passed on, the greatest gift that I got from Mom was I learned who she was as a woman and not as a mother. And that for me was very phenomenal.
Yeah, that's true.
I understood her to be Eva Joyce Kudiwa Rugayo in all of her greatness, and to look at her life to the 82, 83 years that she had on earth and understand the woman that she was. And I am in awe, and I can only be a quarter of who she was. So, I will always miss her, and this is a tribute to her. For Kudzai, I have always said, I don't think I can ever be loved in the way that this man loved me.
He loved,
And, I want to thank the Nemapare family for rallying behind me in the way that they did. And I just am so humbled. And, for me, it has set such parameters in my life that I'm okay. I'm good because I know that I was truly, truly, truly given the best in a relationship. He used to always say, love is, not about pain. It's about joy. And he was very consistent with that. And he used to always say, the E is you, but don't forget that I'm the N. I'm the Nemapare. And so my brand will always be EN. But thank you, sisters, for joining me on this journey to start another season and look forward to a year full of joy, full of gratitude. And, for everyone who is watching, it's because we want people to understand that even when you are in darkness, there's always that ray of light that will come through. And if you need sisters, it's not about blood sisters. Auntie Jackie, you mentioned it. So true. It's not about blood sisters, but it's about the communities that support us. And I want to give a big thank you to the Mutare community. I want to give a big thank you to all the doctors that helped us through this period, that counseled us. Vakazi vari wadzano vaiuya vachiimba vachiri kutinyararidza to this very day. And my biggest thank you is to our children who have literally stood the test of time with us. And I'm just so thankful, but I'm also thankful for you, my sisters. And I just want to say I love you, and I'm really thankful for you.
I love you, Auntie Jackie.
I love you guys.
Yeah. So this is the EN show. And if you're grieving and if you're feeling sad, just understand that you're not by yourself. Reach out there. Someone is there waiting to also give you support. As always, we are sending love and light your way.